Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I
Uh,
waved at the camera like they could actually see me, but they can't.
I still have the art up. Okay, so I'm gonna take that down. Look at this chat. Look at how cool
No,
and
leave it
prepared
up.
we are.
Look at the
Wait,
art.
what?
Everyone, look at the
What?
art.
Okay,
Oh
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
oh,
I
oh,
gotta, I gotta put that down for a second because, like, holy crap!
look at the art.
I love
Okay,
how
there's the
small
art.
I am.
Look at it.
I'm
Look
so
at little
wee.
Notor.
2.5. Yes, Sarah,
Yeah,
because Leah and I are fully Canadian, and Notor is half.
yeah. I'm
He's
Canadian
just
partially by
half.
birth. My mom is Canadian.
That's why he's a little half orc.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I'm a little wee boy. Yeah. What's up, Blue?
He's just a little lad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi,
But then also
Blue.
there's this for like,
Hey, Abby.
Yay!
yeah.
Oh wait. Okay, hang on.
Daffy.
I gotta see this shit.
My brain went straight to how do you get half a person? Hi, Evie.
Evie.
It's
So
true.
chat,
I am.
chat behind Leah. I'm sorry, I'll move you, chat.
I am Canuban or
No, I take
Cubanian.
the space.
She here.
Oh my God.
You want half a person?
Oh, dude, that looks so good, man.
What?
I like the way that you have it. It's like the Canadian flag.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
just two
good.
color sources.
That's great.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Alright.
more just to give you an idea of how like old and busted my brain is with this stuff. Like that's more advanced than I can think of. So
It's really not hard, I promise.
I know, but I'm like I cannot fathom doing things on a computer.
Oh, I love how tiny Notor is.
Dude,
I know.
I have to be wee. Like that's just the way it is.
It's so good.
It's part of the lore now. We can't
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't
it's
change
canon.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You want half a person? All right, Sunset.
Mhm.
Which half?
Now wait, are we talking like the left half or the right half? Or are we talking like the upper half or the lower half?
that's the question,
Left?
isn't it?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
better choose my good half. Come on.
Oh my god.
So maybe let's go around and introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Because I think not everybody knows who I am, not everybody knows who you are, Notor.
Mhm.
I think
Everyone
Leah's
knows me.
everyone knows Leah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
Go for
All
it,
right.
Notor.
So I am half Canadian, half Cuban man. My dad is from Cuba. Immigrated here when he was 11 years old. My mom immigrated from Canada when she was 6. My dad has a much sadder story than my mom, but that's more about them than it is me. So I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and management, dual major. I've been working in the corporate sphere for about 12 years, and I am a formerly casual racist, sexist garbage person. I basically through kind of the tenets of science and then also gaming, oddly enough, kind of figured out that my perspective on the world was garbage, and then decided to change. And that's
Yay!
been a really long
Personal
process.
growth.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's hard though, like just well, that's a topic for another time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't worry. There hopefully will be more to come.
Oh yeah.
For sure. It's just so hard for me to imagine Notor as like you as a garbage person because you're so nice.
Oh dude, it's hard because like when I see people acting the same way I did, like it's hard to be like, yo, stop doing that because I was just like that and it sucks, But
Mm.
yeah.
Do you want to go next, Leah?
Sure, I'll go next. So I'm Leahswicked. I think I hang out in both your guys' streams pretty often. But yeah, my background is kind of I have a major in history with a double minor in math and philosophy, and I have a master's degree in social studies education. I've been teaching for this is my sixth year teaching, and I've worked in a lot of like First Nations and Inuit schools. Worked pretty remote at times. And yeah, so my mom is also an immigrant, but from Europe. My dad's a born Canadian, so I'm technically, I guess, a first generation Canadian by that standard. But yeah, that's kind of me.
Nice. I'm Jess. I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I worked as a geriatric mental health nurse for about 4 years, until I realized that it's a really hard job and I'm too sick to do it. I am first generation Canadian, I think, in my family, because both of my parents immigrated, so that would make sense. Yeah, so that's just a little background on what different perspectives you guys are going to hear from us anyway, because we would also love to have your input.
I think that makes at least 2 of us the Wonder Woman, because I am also a first generation idiot.
So much high education. Sheesh. Yeah. Well, what does that amount to in the end?
For real.
A piece of paper.
Yep.
A piece of
Well, because I'm certainly
not
not
even
doing
on my
anything with
wall.
mine.
Mine, man. I don't even know where my degrees are.
Oh no. So, what we're going to talk about today, the idea is we wanted to explore sort of topics that we think should either be told to children or not be told to them.
Yeah.
And from the perspective of like maybe what your parents should have told you and stuff your teacher should have taught you, and then stuff that society as a whole needs to really like get their stuff together.
Yeah, get their
Yeah.
shit together. Yeah, so this is really just talking about kind of the youth,
Yeah.
what they need to know and what maybe we don't need to be telling them and driving into their heads all the time.
Yeah, and if I'm right, I think you put it really well, Jesse, earlier when you came to my stream where you were saying that like the whole premise of this is essentially we're going to talk about things that aren't necessarily things that people like to talk about on Twitch, but to make it like a space where we can actually discuss it and not just be like yelling at each other, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so chat, you're definitely welcome to like engage in the conversation. Obviously, this goes for both chats, Notors and Jesses. Keep it respectful and kind to each other. But you're welcome to share your thoughts and opinions, and we definitely will be responding to you guys as you're chatting away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want to dive into it?
Yeah, let's go. So I know like one of the first things that we had here was the idea of blood is thicker than water, with the full expression being the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. I think that was you that wrote that down, Lee, or was that you, Jess?
Kind
It
of
might
a
have been
group
both of
effort
us.
there, yeah.
Yeah, this was so. I guess a little like inside baseball. We have a document that I don't want to say we all have worked on because really it's been you two, and I've
No,
just
you
been
did.
like, I know there's little green parts that are like, yeah, like the orc put something there, that's cool, but like, no, I think you guys did the major lifting, honestly. So
Yeah, but definitely when we were like, especially in terms of doing some just expressions, I think expressions are a great starting place for discussion because generally they have so much to unpack in them, especially expressions that have been so vastly changed from the original one to suit whatever agenda is being pushed, right? Like the idea of blood being thicker than water, obviously talking to the idea that family is the most important thing, right? Family above all else. Your family comes first. Your family's what matters. But when you actually go back and look at the full expression, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It's generally saying that the friends you make and the family you choose to have in your life is way more important than the family
You were
that
born to.
you were born with. Yeah, absolutely. So I think definitely we wanted to touch on the fact that the idea of family as the epicenter of what is important is not always the case.
Yeah,
And absolutely,
and
Evie, yeah.
even maybe just like redefining what a family is, because not almost I can't think of anybody really who has that typical like nuclear family of like
Yeah.
a mom, a dad, and 2 kids. Like
2.5.
yeah.
there it is with the half a person again. Jeez. I mean, so like I guess my family is the typical nuclear family in a way because it is myself, my sister, and both my parents. But yeah, I mean, not to say that I don't feel a strong relationship with my sister or my parents because I love my parents. They are wonderful people, and so is my sister. Despite all of our flaws, etc. But in terms of like finding your own family, I would say that I didn't really feel the full impact of that until COVID-19 hit, and then it was like I kind of created this internet family around me with some of my friends. Did you guys have similar experiences, or?
I
Um,
did. Oh, go ahead.
I wouldn't say like definitely Twitch. I've built this kind of crazy community, and it's honestly incredible to me how many friends I've made through Twitch. I'm a little bit more of a well, I don't I like people, but I struggle to maintain friendships because I move around a lot. I'm always doing different things, so I find it hard to stay linked to people.
Mhm.
So like I wouldn't say COVID was the result of me getting into Twitch and kind of building up these new relationships with people. But I did start streaming during COVID, so
Yeah.
happy accident.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't have a very good relationship with my biological family, like my parents. I'm still pretty close with my brother and my sister. But definitely, since COVID, I have made a lot of close friends who I would consider my chosen family.
Mm-hmm.
They've been very supportive. It's been nice.
That's awesome. And you have a fiance as well.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
of 10 years now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, the entirety of my adult life.
So wait, now how
Wow.
long have you known your fiance?
Like maybe 2 years before that, 12 years.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
I only ask. This is totally tangential, but so everybody likes to pick on me and my wife because we've only been married for 2 years and we've known each other for 16. Like we've been dating for 16, or had been.
Oh,
I guess.
whatever.
Wow.
I might never get married.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Yeah,
You know.
So you can tell all your friends to suck it.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. Dude, one of my friends was all like, "Oh, I got to get married and stuff." And I was like, "Do you? Like, do you have to get married and
do
have
you?
kids? Like that cuz to me that sounds crazy. Like you don't have to do that shit. You do what you want, right? Do what makes you happy."
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is longer. Both of you stay in relationships longer than any relationship I've ever had. Told you I don't like people that much.
Oh no.
Holy.
No, it's all good. But I guess in terms of like going back to our discussion about family, like I have a fairly good relationship with my family. Like I'm super close with all my siblings. My parents, I love them. But like definitely as I've gotten older, I've realized that there's some like aspects of what particularly I'll say my parents believe that I'm like, I don't agree with you at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. Which has caused like some tension in some cases, and certainly like sometimes you end up with like family expectations of like just I don't want to go into too much detail obviously about my too personal into my life, but like sometimes there's just expectations that you're going to take on certain roles within your family.
Mhm.
And especially I'm an older, like I am one of 5 kids, and I'm the second oldest, the oldest girl. So like I feel like there's certain expectations when you're in that kind of a role in your family. So I've found myself more having to like step up and be like, I didn't actually say I would do that, or like I didn't agree to like doing that for you, or doing that for you in the future, or being involved in that.
Mhm.
So that's definitely been like having to learn how to navigate having your own individual expectations of and goals for what you want in life, and still try to keep that like still trying to be respectful of what your family's thinking, but also doing your own thing too.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, literally the only person you can ever count on 100% is yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the long and the short of it. Like, people are well-intentioned, but ultimately they should also be looking out for themselves.
No, I think definitely when it comes to like parents, like I'd certainly felt like a lot of expectations growing up for how we had to perform in school and behave, and I think I still carry some of that with me, but definitely have tried to let a lot of that go.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm reeling from many after effects of many a conflict in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only conflicts I have in my family are from my extended family, mostly on my mom's side, because that's the one that, or those are the people that I see the most. And it's usually just like, I'm just gonna say it straight. Like, some of them are real garbage people. Like, they're really awful, and I am the kind of person that when somebody says something that is not true, I can't let it go. And that has gotten me into so much trouble with my mom. Like, there are times where she's been like, you can't say that to your aunts. I'm like, why the fuck not? If they're saying something that's incredibly stupid, why would I not be like, yo, here's a cell phone. I looked up the information for you. You're dumb and wrong. You know, not in those words, but, like, I'm trying to be nice, but...
Like, well, it's like, you're not doing it out of spite.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you want them to know and to be better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, as a kid, I was supposed to look up to these people, and now that I've grown up, I'm like, I can't look up to you. You're shit. Like, I would, like, I want them to be better than me, because that's how I viewed them when I was a kid, I guess. I don't know if that's, like, weird, or I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, and I think this is going to touch on a different point of our, of kind of our document that we've got put together, but, like, the whole idea of respecting your elders, right? And that's what it comes to. Respect your elder family members, respect your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents. I'm like, sometimes those people just fucking suck.
Yeah.
And like they don't deserve my respect. And interestingly enough, I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was this person talking about the whole idea of like respecting your elders, and part of the reason why a lot of boomers get really upset is because they grew up with the expectation without the internet that when they were old, they were going to be the wise and knowledgeable person that everyone comes to, regardless of whether they're wrong or not.
Right.
But now with the internet, we don't need your wisdom or knowledge. We can just Google, like the information's there, and we can easily prove you wrong when you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't need your misinformation. Thank you.
I don't
exactly.
Real. Like I don't need your Facebook posts. Thank you. Like we're good.
Hi, either.
But so definitely the idea of like respecting your elders, again, man, you don't have to respect someone who's not going to show you respect, or who is just wrong.
And kind of to what Blue Crayon was saying, like my sister and I and my dad, in my mind, we saved my mom from her siblings because she's the youngest, and she only had one brother of 6 kids. So, like, she was shaped by the opinions of her older sisters, and, like, they had a lot of sway over her until we finally convinced her, like, no, your sisters are actually, like, giant assholes, and, like, they make you a worse person just by you being around them. And finally she kind of, figured that out, I guess, after years of us telling her, and now she's like, no, your aunts are idiots, and, they're still my sisters, but, yeah. Moon, how you doing? Or, hey, you doing? How you doing? How's that? That's probably a little better. That's
Hi,
actual,
Moon.
actual English.
Poison, I will ban you.
Huh?
I swear to God.
Large what?
I mean, like, large cat. Listen, that's a tough. Those are subjects for other times.
We are not touching that. I am not talking about lions or the sun. I will leave right now.
Oh, is this the lions thing?
Yes!
Poison, stop.
I don't know what that is.
I will ban you. I swear to God.
You know what? Why don't we talk about that later so it doesn't come out here? So Jesse doesn't have to leave.
Oh my gosh. New podcast topic for later?
Yeah.
Yeah. The edition without me.
No. We can't have 1.5 Canadians. It can't be 2 podcasts. It's only 1.
You're good, Poison. You're good. As you were.
Yeah.
I don't need your permission to be as I was. Thank you.
But I guess what I was trying to get at is like a lot of my perspective on at least this particular thing comes from at least like for the kind of toxic interfamily relationship stuff actually comes from observing my mom with her siblings, because like I've definitely seen a lot of like the guilt tripping, the gaslighting, that kind of stuff from her older sisters. Her brother not so much, because her brother was just like a couple of years older than her, but yeah.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen that along, like, my mom, same, had a lot of siblings, and her older sister, she only has one sister and then a bunch of brothers, but her older sister is a fucking trash person.
Yeah.
Like, she's so fucking mean, and she, like, bullied my mom her entire life, and I've heard some of the stories of, like, what she did to my mom, and I'm like, that's so fucking cruel. It's unbelievable to me. And my mom still calls with her and talks with her.
Wow.
And I'm like, for what purpose?
But why?
Yeah.
Well, and like my mom's never the one to initiate, but every so often my aunt will call her and be like, talk about her own shit, right? Like, and all that stuff. And my mom entertains it. I'm like, why don't you just hang up? and say,
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. Like,
It's
she's never
really that
treated you
simple.
well. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
but
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
for some people it's not. Like, I guess.
I suppose
Well,
I'm
and
of two minds about the idea of like cutting people out of your life when it comes to family, because in one
Mm.
way it's like you really have to take care of yourself, but in another it's like you also don't want to cause drama. But that's also kind of how my brain stupidly works, where I'm like I don't want to cause issues for anybody else, even if it means that I have to put up with some stupid bullshit. But like,
absolutely not.
yeah, exactly. Like
Mhm.
it really shouldn't be that way. It should really be like you got to look out for your own mental well-being. And I mean, I'm not saying like go out there and be, mean to somebody who's being a cockbag, but like, don't sugarcoat it either. Just be like, listen, what you're doing is really bad and I don't want to handle it. Like maybe I
Mhm.
could, but I really have no desire to put up with your shit, you know?
Oh, and sometimes people don't know. And a huge thing that I talk about this all the time with other people is that communication is a skill
Mhm.
that needs to be taught somewhere
Yeah.
because nobody does it well, like
No.
without
Yeah.
trying and without learning. And maybe whoever it is that you're trying to cut out is absolutely fucking oblivious and doesn't know that they're doing it.
Mhm.
Maybe they need to be told like in plain language, like, hey, this thing that you're doing really sucks, can you stop? Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and then
Sometimes
if
it
they
just has
choose
to be
not
cut and
to,
dry.
yeah, and then if they choose not to, then
Then
cut them
see
out.
ya. Yeah.
And I
Like,
think the problem is like a lot of us were trained from like a very young age to
oh,
prioritize
absolutely.
other people, right? Like you're prioritizing someone else's feelings,
Over
like
your own?
them
No,
being
that's garbage.
uncomfortable, right? You're prioritizing them being uncomfortable by you calling them out versus taking care of your own uncomfortableness with the way they're acting.
Yep. Um.
Oh yeah, Moon, we're going deep into
Yeah.
these topics.
Oh yeah.
So
And
maybe
I-
we should have done a trigger warning.
Yeah,
but...
we understand completely if like this isn't really something you want to, listen to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will message you later when we go to the fun thing, which is, Eldritch Horror and stuff.
Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah.
The Epic Game Store.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so I guess like I don't know, do you guys think we should give like some advice for anybody who's experiencing this kind of stuff? Because like I kind of feel like talking about it is one thing, but then if we can like kind of talk about how mostly for you guys kind of overcome some of this stuff or like get past it, or because I really have to say I really appreciate you saying like you just have to tell somebody in plain language, because for real, like yes, I credit gaming and science for helping me the most to get out of like my brain garbage and stop being a piece of shit, but my wife was definitely also like I would say probably one of the biggest people to like give that push over the edge for me to be like, yo, that shit you're talking about, it's real bad, and the way you're talking about it really sucks. And I mean, she was never like mean about it. And of course, like as a garbage person, I was very defensive at the time, but it always allowed me to like afterwards just kind of think about it and be like, what she's saying is true and it makes sense. Like I really, what I'm doing does not accomplish anything, Yeah.
I don't know if I would say I would give advice, but I can tell my story, kind of.
Absolutely. As long as you're comfortable telling it.
Oh, I'm an open book. My mother, I don't know for how long, has been seriously mentally ill. We don't know with what, because she's never been to the doctor and gotten diagnosed, and my dad just enabled her to keep living like this until it was like too late. She's never going to go and she's never going to get better. You're going to go with her entire life? No, you're not. You're getting out. But we didn't realize, me and my siblings growing up, that like how dysfunctional our family actually was, because we didn't really go anywhere because we were very much sheltered. You're gonna go with her entire life? Yeah, probably. She's been mentally ill her entire life. That's not. So a little bit more background. I'm half Chinese and half Filipino, and I don't know if you guys know about the culture in Filipino culture. It's very much shame and guilt based. The shame part comes from like the Filipino, and then a lot of them are very Catholic, and that's where the guilt comes from. So it's just this lovely harmony of garbage.
And we could get into the guilt of Catholicism, but
oh yeah, that has just built generations of like Filipino kids like everywhere, just suffering from all of these terrible like inferiority complexes and etc. So there's a huge intergenerational part to it from that. But eventually something happened between my parents and I surrounding my grandmother that I finally was like, it doesn't matter how much I give her or whatever it is, she's never going to be satisfied with it. It's not my job to do that for her, even though I'm a nurse. Like, it's not you don't. There's a reason you're not meant to take care of your family, because you're too close to them, right? And it's hard to be objective. Yeah. So at some point I was just like, I washed my hands of it. I was like, I've done what I can. I'm suffering for no reason. This isn't good for me or good for them. And I haven't spoken to them since November of 2019. It's almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Jeez,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's heavy, my dad, but good for you for taking care of yourself first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. I should have done it a long time ago. But, better late than never. But I did have some family, say, oh, they're your parents. They're just doing the best they could, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not a good excuse, and it's not.
Well, it's not helpful. Yeah. It's not helpful, right? To say they're doing the best they can. I'm like, do better.
Yeah.
So they can do better, but they choose not to. Right. Or in my mother's case, she's too ill too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But also, like, not to, and again, no excuse for anyone's behavior, but certainly, like you mentioned, generational trauma. Like, I'm sure your parents were both suffering as well from their own trauma during their childhood. And then that comes out in how you parent your own kids.
100%.
And certainly you can break that cycle, but
you have to be aware of it first, and they are not.
Absolutely, exactly.
My parents are so emotionally immature. It's like, I don't remember what exactly led to this, but they sat my sister down, and this was around the time when we were having the arguments around my grandmother, and they told my sister, basically they were telling her, like, from their perspective, what was happening at the time. And they basically made my brother and I sound like we were demons. Like, it was awful. And then they said, you're a part of this family, so you have to choose sides. My parents were saying that to my sister.
That's crazy. That you're a part of this family, so and even just the line, you're a part of this family, so therefore blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so toxic. Yeah. And it's such a toxic mentality to have, that those expectations that you must do this just because, again, going back to our freaking quote, blood is thicker than water, as if.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. It's crazy,
my parents, so my dad immigrated from England and my mom immigrated from the Philippines, but they basically grew up in Canada from like their teens onward. My sister likens it to that time being divorced, being like with divorced parents, except it was siblings and parents instead. And my sister would tell us, like, oh, mom said today that basically she only has one child.
Jesus. That's so fucked.
One is, it's like, stuff like that is definitely like, it's a guilt tripping method, right?
Oh, for sure.
To make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that quote earlier, how the full quote is that obviously the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And it's so interesting that people just ignore that and go with the shortened version.
Well, it's the same with like the bad apples thing, where people are like, oh, it's just a few bad apples. And it's like, no. The full thing is a few bad apples spoils the bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. People love
Yeah,
their
I just wanted
shortcuts
to-
to prove their point. It's crazy.
Yep,
Absolutely.
yep.
And for some reason, expressions are the way?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah. Like,
Because it ties everything up in a neat little bow, and then people don't have to think about it.
yeah, humans
Yeah.
are like hardwired to like simplicity. It's kind of fucked for the survival of an organism.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
You need nuance, people.
Yeah.
But I did have other members of my family saying, like, you really should, try and reconcile.
But and that's the thing about like reconciliation for whose benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I said that. I said, if it's not good for me, why should I do it?
Because it's good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Like, well, no, thanks. I have to prioritize myself.
Yep, and you're like, and I've already put the effort into trying to fix this.
Yeah. So ultimately, you may, you may sever ties with more people than you intended to. But it's like with friends, though, right? Like if you have toxic friends, you want to cut them out. Sometimes you cut out, more friendships than you knew that you were going to. It's the same with family. It should be the same with any relationship.
Yep. If it's toxic,
family. Yeah, family is not some like untouchable, invincible term that like means that they can get away with doing garbage things.
Yeah, for real.
just like being mentally ill is not an excuse to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
Mom.
Yeah. that is one thing that I struggle with in some cases because like I do have mental illness / learning disorder, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and like I try to be very understanding about people having those and like reacting in ways that I guess like neurotypical people find abrasive, but like that. What we're talking about, I think, goes far beyond that. It's not just like I had a weird reaction to something and it made people uncomfortable. It's like, no, you're being like abusive. Like, yeah. So I just wanted to say something because like sometimes people are like, yeah, but this person's mentally ill, so like you can't really. And it's like, no, that's not mental illness.
Yeah.
Like that is somebody actually just like putting themselves above other people and being a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do we want to move on to one of the other topics or?
Sure.
Taking a breather.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of really good comments in chat for this one, like lots of great comments. Even if we don't call everybody out for their comments, we are reading them all.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. We have all the chats.
And if there's if you guys want to talk about stuff, feel free to message me if you want.
Same. Although like I have to say though, I am thrilled with the communities that we've built because the other day some folks in my community were talking about how one of my community members was super stressed because like they were quitting their job and they were going to do something else and they were having a panic attack, and one of our community members actually went over and was like, yo, I know the signs of a panic attack and that's what you're going through, so talk to me. And like it was I just supporting each other, I guess that kind of goes along with the topic, like the blood of the covenant, etc. Like we've forged these bonds, and despite the fact that they're over several hundred miles or several thousand miles, like
it doesn't make them any less real. It doesn't make the amount of time that you spend. It doesn't invalidate. It doesn't invalidate a relationship just because you're not beside them.
Exactly. Like
absolutely.
This is one of the many reasons why whenever my parents ask me why I don't talk to people at work about like my hobbies, I'm like, because they're all boomers. None of them understand this shit. And I don't just mean like I don't mean that they're just old people. Yes. I mean that they are like mentally boomers who are just like the internet relationship is just not as good as the personal relationship where you can talk to people and
if
like
you're not in real life.
Yeah, like
you don't even know who they are.
You know what?
Like, I hate it.
Take your meat space ideals out of here.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
What if Notor isn't actually real? Well, I guess you'll just have to meet me and find out, Blue. Someday I'm coming over there, and we're going to have some goddamn... what the hell is that noodle dish called? God damn it. Why is my brain broken? Not pho. Ramen. That's it.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine forgetting ramen.
Hey, listen.
Right?
I told you my brain is old and broken.
Oh. And Splat, I hear you. I am a teacher. I work with teachers. It is unbelievable to me that I'm not going to rant about this too long, I promise. The amount of people in education who are unwilling to learn boggles the mind. Boggles. I need to save this for another day because I'm going to go off.
Yeah, I will just one quick tangent.
Will go off.
One quick tangent. I used to volunteer for a teachers organization, and as somebody who has ADHD, one day they were all sitting at the table and were like, "Oh, I have such bad ADD. Sometimes I just forget about things." And I was like, "Ooh, motherfucker, you do not have ADD. You are just being real shitty right now." But like, anyway, so the second kind of subtopic that we had was the idea of assigning gender at birth, basically based on genitals, and how it's kind of ridiculous that we do things like, hey, this small meat clone of myself has a set of danglies or doesn't, and therefore it is a boy or a girl, and either has like blue with trucks and guns and explosions and tough guy stuff, or princesses, unicorns, nice dresses, etc. And
That's garbage.
It is. It really is. Like, I mean, I get wanting to put things into, like, you know, a box and make them simple, but we already just talked about how making shit simple just doesn't really work in complex organisms like ourselves. Like, one of the... I actually had no idea about this until I was listening to NPR one day on the drive into work, so like pre-COVID. And there was this dude that they were talking to who was talking about this tribe in Africa that before European colonizers came, they had 15. Yeah, and they had 15 genders because gender because gender is just like a construct of what your role is in society.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know, man. I feel like you should just let kids kind of tell you what they want, like what they like.
Absolutely.
Like two of my best friends, who I also would, consider basically family, they have 2 kids, and like they never did the whole, our kid, our son has all the blue stuff and the cars and explosions, and then the girl has all this other stuff. Like they're just letting the kids kind of tell them what they want. Like, and their son is like, I like trucks and I like construction equipment, and like he knows more about this shit than I do. I mean, that's not very hard, but I don't know anything about vehicles.
Yeah, and to be fair, like we're not saying there's nothing wrong with like children like who identify as boys deciding I like trucks and cars. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine, but it should be with the child's direction of what am I interested in, instead of being your boy, you like truck.
Well, yeah, like something that Blue just pointed out.
Imagine trying to do that to an adult.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, yes, kids don't have that agency, but they are going to be adults one day. Like, treat them like they're going to be somebody who can talk to you one day.
But that's the thing. People don't think about kids as people. They're not people. They're
kids.
Like, they're obviously people and they're kids, but people don't think about them like that, right?
No,
they think about them as items. They're very objectified.
Yeah.
Like, they're items to have.
Yeah, I get the idea that like kids, very young kids, are not very good at making decisions that are good for them, which is why you do things like you try to feed them healthy. I say try to feed them healthy food and things like that. But like I mean, same friends. We were driving back from grabbing some barbecue with his son, and like he was like, I have to pee. And then we were like, okay, well, we're going to get you home really fast. And then he just like laid down in the floor of the car and was like, I don't want to get in the car seat. And was like, but if we don't get home, you can't pee. Like, just not very good at making decisions. But like at the same time, it's very different from, I like this or I like that, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Gindred, and adults do have the ability to fight back, but a lot of people don't. Because they're too afraid of rocking the boat.
Dude.
Yep. They're either scared, they're scared of the judgment, they're scared of losing friends, losing relationships, feeling isolated.
I feel that's so fucking hard because, like, I have a Latino last name. I work with so many fucking WASPs. Like, and if you don't know what WASP is, it's white Anglo-Saxon person. And so it's not supposed to be a derogatory term, but I guess some people use it that way. But in any case, and I don't mean it that way, just more of an identifying thing. But like, it is so rare for me to hear my last name pronounced correctly. even though it's actually the same as a fairly famous town in Spain. Like, it just blows my fucking mind, man. Like, and
Yep.
it's to the point where and I'm sure that you guys may have experienced some of the same things in other places, but like, it's gotten to the point where I just don't say anything anymore. Like, I can't count how many times my boss has just like said my last name incorrectly, despite how many times I tried to correct her at first, and I'm just like, fuck it, man. It's never gonna work.
Have you ever tried seriously mispronouncing their name?
No,
Yeah,
because
flip the script.
that would rock the boat and then probably get me in some shit. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Moon, don't even get me started on the pink tax.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay, so the pink tax, that's another day. We'll do it another day.
Yeah.
I should be writing a list of all these great things
Please
we need to talk about.
Race,
Hold on.
another day.
Oh my god. Hold on. Let me
MK,
get a
that's
pen
awesome.
and paper. I'm writing this down.
Yeah, for real, like
You just make
sexism
another
in
Google document, Leah.
yeah.
I don't want to open a new one, okay? My internet was already kind of having a moment for a second there. Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, there are so many things that like keep coming up that it's like, you know, I feel like podcast stuff is, you're always like, man, how are we gonna come up with all these topics? And then as we talk about one, it's like, all right, well, get on your Google document, make another one.
Yeah, there's 5 more topics.
Yep.
Oh man.
I kind of want to just talk about this one and then move on to the teacher ones.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I like that. I mean,
It kind of ties in with the gender thing, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, gender, family, the whole situation. So this is something Jess and I have talked a little bit about before. And maybe some people will think this is a hot take. Maybe some people won't. I am not a fan of body positivity as a trend. I think it's toxic. I'm much more in favor of the idea of body neutrality, which is the whole idea that your body is your body and it is what it is. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you just accept it as it is for what it is. It's a vessel to get you places and to do stuff for you. It doesn't have to be a good, happy, smiley thing all the time. You also don't have to feel like shit about yourself all the time.
It's a mech.
Yeah. You know, I feel like that's a fair assessment. Did you say it's a mech?
Yeah,
It's a mech. It's a meat mech.
Yes, dude.
Meat mech.
Let's go.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
when I
yes.
start stomping around my apartment like a BattleTech, you know, like battle mech, and my wife is like, "What?" Actually, my wife probably won't question it. She'll just be like, "God damn it, he's doing it again." But I will
Tell her
say,
that
I'm
you're
blaming
meat
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to chant meat mech.
Oh.
Or just brains and skeleton and meat suits. Exactly.
Yeah.
The new iBody, complete with 5G chipset integrated. Oh god.
Oh no.
But just how, like Leah said, and actually, I didn't know what the I didn't know that there was sort of this concept of body neutrality. It's not something that I even sort of realized could be a thing. Is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Splat.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead.
I agree. So Splat said, the thing that always makes me feel weird about the body positivity stuff is that they're always still conventionally attractive, just not so skinny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
like
the idea, like you see that a lot in people who are maybe like a little bit overweight. But when you look at like models who are like the overweight or the plus size models, they still all have no belly and hourglass figures.
Yep.
Right?
No
Feel good
cellulite,
about yourself.
no stretch marks.
But look like this, right?
Lies.
Yeah.
It's all lies.
Lies, absolutely. Yeah, so I think the body neutrality movement is getting a little bit more speed, but obviously it's competing with body positivity, which is so toxic and has become almost cult-like in its fanaticism about itself.
So
Well, it's the same. It's in the same vein as toxic positivity, right?
Absolutely, which is
I
exactly
see,
what
okay.
it is. Yeah, so like it's the idea of you like, my body's great, I love my body, I'm so happy. That will eventually lead to such mental burnout trying to be so positive all the time that you end up hating yourself even more than you did before.
Yeah.
Like, so
And I don't know where people get this idea that like living your life and being fulfilled like means you have to be happy all of the time. That's not a thing.
yeah. Like, you
Yeah.
should seek happiness for yourself and as much happiness as you can have, but, like, it's got to be real.
Yeah, it has to be genuine. Like, you have to
Yeah.
be genuinely feeling those things. And if you're not, we need
It's
more
okay.
acceptance for, like, yeah, that's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
So would you say that body neutrality is much more along the lines of, like, body acceptance, or just, like, accepting yourself?
Yeah.
And not even
Okay.
acceptance in, like, and maybe this is just my own personal take on it, because obviously I don't want to speak for everybody who is trying to define this, also because it's still kind of under definition, I feel. I wouldn't even say that you have to accept your body, other than, like, accept it for what it is, which is, it's a body.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to
accept
be,
that you have to have it. But
yes,
you don't have
and
to
that you're
accept,
using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to accept, like, whatever attributes about it that you don't like or whatever, but accept that it is yours, and that it's the only one you got, and its literal purpose is to help you live your life. Right? In that sense, it's no different than any tool you have at your disposal.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you have to carry it around with you all the time.
Yeah, I can't take it off, so I mean.
And feed it and water it. And
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
What Killer
I mean,
said,
the feeding
if you're happy all the
part's
time,
fun.
tell me what you're taking, please. But also, don't, because I don't want that.
Yeah.
Ruby!
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, Blue. Like, and there's a friend of mine that I've been talking to about a lot of this stuff recently, like the idea of self-acceptance, because, like, and I guess that can also be a topic for some other time, but there are folks who will seek happiness in the comfort of others, in terms of, like, finding relationships, etc. But in my mind, the real, like, way to, at least for me, the way that I kind of found happiness was through knowing myself, accepting myself, and then, and I don't mean, like, accepting, like, okay, well, I'm a piece of shit, and I'm just going to stay that way. I mean, like, accepting who I am and, like, what my limitations are, etc., and what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and then finding someone who compliments me. And I don't mean, like, it's like, oh, you're so hot. I mean, like, as in, like, they are compliment to my personality and myself.
Compliment, not
Yes,
compliment.
Thank you. I'm glad that you can enunciate for me, because I know that a lot of times I get mush mouth.
No problem.
Yeah. Like, have you heard me speak? So we know your wife's hot, Notor, so don't lie to us.
I mean, to me, definitely. If anybody else says so, we're going to have fighting, okay? Like, I joke with her that she's not allowed out of the house with yoga pants on, but, that it is a joke. It is a joke. I want to make that very clear. She's allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants.
I think,
Yeah, but
so along with the body neutrality thing, just like things like parents projecting their issues onto their kids. The one that comes to mind for me is mothers and weight.
Oh boy,
my
yeah.
God. Do I have a story to you? I don't want to interrupt you, Jess, if you're saying something, but
Okay, just and that critiquing body image and weight and hair and clothing and stuff that, like, the kids can't change is so damaging. because it's a part of them. So they think that they're bad because you're saying that this thing is bad and this thing is something that they are. They equate that to, that thing is bad, so I'm bad because I have that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, like, there's so much of that in the world. Like, I've talked about this in my stream before too. Like, people have asked, like, why is using gay as a pejorative so bad? And like, I try to answer as frankly as I can, and my answer to that is generally, because if you are saying, basically what you're saying is that being gay is bad, and if you're saying, like, that's a part of somebody, like, so that kind of you can't divest that from this person's being. So it's kind of like how I fucking hate this word, but I'm going to use it just to illustrate the point. Like, I hate the word retarded, because people used to use that, and I'm sure for both of you it was the exact same, because I'm sure it still happens a lot, especially in school, where kids love to use that to mean that, like, you're dumb or you're bad, and it's like, okay, like, maybe not use that word, because, like, that is something completely different. Like, this is a person that was born into a specific, mental state or physical state, and, like, they can't really change that, whereas, like, a person who's, like, I don't know, 1 + 1 is 85. Like, no, you're just being dumb. Like, that's dumb. That's stupid. You know, like it's very different. Like, being stupid is a choice. You know, whereas being, you know,
Yeah.
Same,
Notor,
Vanders.
I work with adults who still use that word.
Yikes.
Yeah.
In their regular daily talk of like, oh, that was so.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're
how
a teacher.
fucking dare you?
Yeah, for real.
It is so upsetting to me. Like, it's so upsetting to me that people still use that word. And I can be real enough to, like, yeah, I used it when I was a preteen because at the time it was the cool word to use, right? Like, it was the slang word that everyone used.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did I stop using it because I realized, holy shit, this is bad? Yup.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and now I never say it ever. And I get really upset with people who say it because it's so demeaning and it's so just absolutely it's cruel. It's so cruel.
I mean, so words can change meaning, certainly, but I do want to address that you also have to be aware of the impact that they have on others. So while you may hear certain people in like the hip hop or rap communities saying that the N-word has changed meaning, you don't go fucking using that word. Ever.
For them, it's changed meaning.
Yes, because they are taking it back and using it for something else.
Yeah.
That does not mean that those of us who are outside that community, and by that community, I mean black folks, because like they are the ones that are taking it back. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Words definitely change through meaning, but the history of the words does not, like, as we grow and evolve as a people, yes, the words change, but they also still have a root somewhere, right? And sometimes that root is awful, and that's why we change it.
Yeah.
Right? It's for the same reason we've changed the word Asperger's. Did it really mean anything itself as a word? No, but it had connection to the person who invented the word, who was like, not a cool person. So we changed the word.
Wait, I had no idea that was...
There's a reason we don't use the word Asperger's syndrome anymore.
So what is it now?
To refer to... It's just autism spectrum disorder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, is this something I've never heard of before? Like, I mean, today I super learned, but I did super learn something today, so that's I had no idea that was...
yes, it's no longer something that's used even medically because of who it's associated with in history. So even though the word, like, it's been used for a very long time, it was used to describe something, right? We've decided it doesn't need to be that because we want to disassociate it from that connection in history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to move on from the stuff that is sort of more family and parent centered to school stuff, and I'll let Leah take the lead on this one.
Oh, school stuff. Okay, for saying I thought you said cool stuff, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and just to say on this, it was very recently changed. Like, the change is extremely recent. Like, I want to say it was in the last, like, 2 years that this changed.
Ah, okay.
For those of you who are asking in chat. Which is why I don't know that it was totally, like, publicized or, like, well known. Because I think it was kind of done on the down low. If I'm being real. But I heard about it because my brother's autistic. Yeah, so same as you, Evie. One of my brothers is autistic, so that's why I know about it. Whew. All right. Teachers. Oh my God, teachers. There is so much stuff in education. And if I'm being honest, anyone who's like, oh man, I haven't been to school in years, like I graduated, blah, 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 that's been so long. Nothing's changed, you guys. It's the same shit. Nothing's changed. It hasn't gotten better. You
guys still use those like laminate projectors?
No, that's changed.
Okay,
but do people use their smartboards? No. They're using their smartboards as glorified projectors.
Oh no.
Man. It's, you know what? Going on the list, technology. Freaking technology, man. Tech and boomers.
Oh boy.
It's on the list for future topics. All right, well, let's start out with everybody's favorite one to hear about. You guys all know it. You've all heard it before. You were taught it as kids. Your parents taught it to you. Your teachers taught it to you. Sharing is caring.
The one time that just because it rhymes doesn't mean it's true, chat.
For real.
Rhyming doesn't mean it's true. just because it rhymes. Yeah. It's my huge issue with the whole sharing idea, and I have nothing against like sharing. Sure, whatever. It's a nice concept, but it doesn't teach about consent. It doesn't teach about boundaries. It, as we talked about before, it puts other people's feelings and opinions and thoughts and wants above yours. It teaches kids that what you think and you feel and you want and what you're doing isn't as important as the fact that that other kid wants what you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it gets me fired up. Fired up. So, and I see this all the time, and you see it all the time that people, especially among young kids, and I don't work with super young kids, so I don't see it as much among my junior, senior highs, but definitely among young kids, you'll see or they'll take toys from one kid and give it to another because you already had your turn. Like, no, no. Yes, it's when did rhyming things mean they're true?
It doesn't. I've just used that as an excuse to make my point stronger. What not when not with sharing is caring, but other silliness.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have any examples of like times when you were forcibly made to share something as kids, or something that you remember.
Not that I can think of right off the top of my head. No, thankfully, I guess that's not.
Spang? This one, Spang brings up a good one that definitely I've experienced before. When you specifically have bought something for yourself, or received something as a gift.
Okay.
And then it becomes the collective's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Getting fired up.
I feel like that one's kind of cut and dry. Like,
yeah,
there's not so much to.
Yeah, and Notor had made a point in there too that, it kind of leads into topics about like the idea of mansplaining or even just giving unsolicited advice to other people. Mm-hmm. It's the idea that you're not respecting other people's boundaries, or you feel like, I guess we can expand sharing to be like sharing your advice.
Oh,
like,
God,
I'm sorry, sweetie, maybe I don't want your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I could wax, but well, maybe not poetic, maybe just really like angry and crass about for a long time. But
unsolicited advice, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it was something that I struggled with for so long. Because like, okay, while I am Latino and also French Canadian in a way, I guess not really. You know what? Fuck it, I'm not French Canadian. I'm Canadian by blood a little bit, not French. But anyway, I am white presenting, and so it's very difficult to kind of get that out of your, as a dude, it's hard to get that shit out of your system because like it's kind of, I don't want to say it's hammered into you, but nobody ever fucking says anything for a really long time about how shitty it is to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, here's like a little bit of, some dumbass advice that came across my brain that you might want to hear. Like, if somebody's not asking you, they probably don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and that goes back again to, you are taught from a very young age that what you want and are comfortable with is not as important as everybody else's.
Yeah. And I'm a huge proponent of that, man. Like, I like anything that has to do with possibly inconveniencing others. I have tried so hard to avoid. Like, it's also one of the reasons why I get so fucking angry at the scumbags that go by my apartment with their really loud motorcycles and shit. Because it's like, motherfucker, there are probably some people with like very young kids that you're waking up with that shit. Like, it's just inconsiderate. Like, I find inconsiderate people to be some of the worst fucking people on the planet. They drive me so crazy.
Well, it's because they think they're the only ones who exist, right? Like, they're the main character, and I'm like, sorry, sweetie, you died chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, But yeah, people sharing unsolicited advice is so. It's so unnecessary, and half the time their advice is bad advice.
Yeah.
Or like something they read on Facebook that you're like, why would I care?
A lot of unsolicited advice is bad advice.
Yeah.
Just say all unsolicited advice is bad
Oh, yeah.
advice.
It's like it always just comes from a single perspective and is never actually,
Nuanced or
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
I can't remember the last time I heard something, because it really when it started to hit me was there. So I guess this goes along with one of the previous topics about how, like, sometimes you can have toxic friendships and the good thing to do is cut them out. But I don't want to go too deep into it. But there is a friend in our circle who I don't really get along with super well. And it was when I started to realize that they are very privileged and very unaware of how shitty some of their behavior is, and it's because no one will say anything. And, I'm pretty sure the last time that I received unsolicited advice, it was from that person, and it was, like, actually those interactions that when my wife had been talking to me about this stuff, because, again, like, she has been one of the greatest driving forces in me being less garbage, I never really understood it. And then when it started to happen to me, I was like, "Holy shit!" And it sucks so bad that I actually had to experience it first in order to actually understand it. Because, like, and the reason I say that is because I know it is hard to have empathy for people whose situations you have not experienced, but it is so important to fucking try. And we can save this for some other time. But I know I touched briefly on my dad having a not-so-nice story of coming to the United States. We can touch on that some other time, but hearing the actual stories when I became an adult, because he kept them from me when I was a kid, it is so fucking heartbreaking to see the way people treat immigrants in the country that I live in. But we can talk about it some other time instead of right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. I'm going to stop because I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, you're good. You're good. No, it's for sure. Like, it's interesting though, because like I told you, like, my mom is an immigrant, but my mom is white, right? Like I think her experience with immigration was vastly different than what your father experienced.
Oh yeah.
Which is so sad. It's beyond sad to think that just the color of her skin alone would mean that she'd have a much more positive experience immigrating to a country. Like, yeah, it just is wild to me.
I feel like we have, I think we may have actually made more topics for ourselves to talk about than we can cover in like an entire year.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can talk forever. Here, I'll move us forward.
Okay.
So one of my biggest pet peeves, freaking ever, and it's freaking dress codes. And I know this is coming in from the perspective of as a teacher about dress codes for students, because this at least topic is about like a kind of advice for kids. But I'm also open to expanding this to like also workplace dress codes, because let me tell you, modesty culture ain't it. It ain't it. And I could go on and on about the freaking comments I receive at work from other people who work there about the dresses I'm wearing or the outfits I chose to wear that day. And it is like, it's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you. Stop. Like, I don't know, shut your eyes off.
Yeah. Just don't look at me.
I have an "it's not for you" story that I would love to tell if you will have it. I think I actually already told it to you, Leah.
Oh, go for it.
About my uncle. So we were at dinner for my dad's birthday, and my uncle was like, he had like a drink or two. Not that this is an excuse, okay, because this is the kind of person that he is all the time. He was like, those ladies that have like the really long fingernails, I just, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you do that to yourself? You're just making things harder. And I was like, Peter, I'll tell you exactly why. Because it's not for you, which I know is hard to accept as a white dude, that something is not for you. And then my wife was like, for real, do you just like not find joy in anything? And also, so here's the other thing. He collects, like, he has like 3 luxury vehicles. Like, I think he has 2 Porsches that he's purchased. And I don't really know how he gets the money for this shit. But but then he started to be like,
I bet you he's deeply in debt.
Oh, well, I don't know. But then, so like, then he was like, well, but it still doesn't make sense. And I was like, does collecting luxury cars make sense? And he was like, but it's different. It's different. It's different. Yeah, it's different.
Because I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate it.
Okay, story over. Except
I
that,
hate
you
it.
know,
But
to say that we continued dunking on my uncle for the next, like,
but
15
it's
minutes.
so true, because like, and it's funny because like I have my nails done right now, for my Halloween look, and they daggers, they pointy, they hot as fuck. But I had my nails done previously, like last summer, and I asked my dad about them. I was like, "Oh, what do you think? Like, they're cute, right?" And he's like, I don't like them." He's like, It's fine, whatever." He's like, "I don't really like them." And I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to like them. They're for me." And I was like, "Oh, what don't you like about them?" And he's like, "They're not feminine."
Oh,
I was like, "Oh,
What?
what?"
Huh?
I was like, "What?" And I think it's because he was going into the vein of like, it's not natural. It's like wearing too much makeup, it's not natural looking. And I'm like, "Bleh."
no makeup is natural!
Oh God, I hate that. Yeah,
it's
oh my
it-
God, yeah.
All right.
Okay, natural beauty. You see all those things like that are like in commercials and stuff. Natural beauty just means that they didn't use unnatural colors.
Okay.
literally.
I
Oh
want to
my gosh.
dispel a myth for all the dudes in chat right now because your lady friends have probably never told you. The makeup, or rather, when you see a lady and you're like, oh, she's not wearing makeup. Yes, she fucking is.
Except
Yes, she
me,
fucking is.
I'm
That is the
never wearing
natural looking makeup. The only reason I know, okay, is because my wife has informed me and then actually showed me and been like, this is what I look like when I'm wearing any kind of makeup to look natural, quote unquote. And this is not like a dunk on ladies, okay? This is a dunk on dudes.
No, this is a dunk on society.
For real. Well, okay, yeah, no, that's a much better way to phrase it. It is a dunk on society for real because like, and then she's like, okay, this is what I look like without makeup at all in any way, shape, or form. Completely different. And this is not to say that I'm like, oh my God, I need her to wear makeup. Because like, okay, seriously, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're like, if they don't wear makeup and you're like, could you just like, I don't know, just do something for the, to look better. Like, yeah, exactly. That makes you a gross person, and you should consider stepping away and looking at yourself before you get into another relationship, because that one should be ending right now. It's not a good way to be. It's not a good way to be.
Yeah, and like lots of people are commenting that they don't wear makeup. I don't wear makeup either. I don't wear makeup to work, nothing like that. But when I go for a job interview, do I put makeup on? Oh, hell yeah, I do. Because the way that people look at you when you're not wearing makeup, like it's so stupid that there's that, again, this is back to dress code stuff. When you go for a job interview, right? And if you're not wearing any makeup, you're underdressed. If you're wearing too much makeup, ooh, you're a slut. Right? Like, it's so fucking stupid. And it shouldn't make it different.
When was the last time a man was asked to wear makeup?
For
Never.
real.
Not once.
Like on TV,
Not
sure.
once.
But
Man can show up wearing slacks and polo shirts, and
Yeah.
I will literally, oh.
Yeah.
And you have a point in here where you're talking about what happens in schools is very like modesty culture, right? But then you move into, and at least I imagine this is what it's like corporate, because that's not an environment I worked in a hospital. We all wore scrubs.
Yep, it's a different environment. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
But it's like just this whole idea of like, why do high heels exist?
Who are they invented for? They were invented for men.
Yeah,
for men.
So that like, one, we were easier to chase down. Two, make the butt look bigger. They're better. Whatever.
Butts. I mean,
Like,
praise butts, but
what? I know.
Yeah, can we get some in my chat? Can we get some praise the sons
Praise
for praise butts, please? Praise butts,
please.
Everybody, praise butts. Yeah, I've never. So I will. This may be a little not disheartening, but I guess it illustrates the point. The only time I was ever talked to about dress code at work was my boss came up to me because we had like a shirt and tie kind of thing going for a long time at work, like ever since I had started working there. And then I think it was 2 years ago, like just maybe like a couple months prior to the COVID lockdown, my boss was like, "Hey, by the way, like, have you not seen how the other guys are dressing in the office?" And I was like, "I don't really generally look at how other people dress." And she was like, "'Cause it's all business casual. Like, you can just wear a polo shirt. You don't need the tie." So it's literally the opposite
You got told to dress down?
Yes. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. The only other thing that's really happened to me, and this is, it's more because I dress like a schleb normally, which I think I use the right word, but a schleb is basically like, I dress like I've, been sleeping on the streets and like rolling in garbage
dress
for a while.
comfort.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we love it.
So like I would go into the office, like when I needed to go into the office, I work from home right now, I would not put on any of the normal business stuff and just be like, I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweater, like a hoodie.
Even says hobo chic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hobo chic. Thank you.
I love that for you.
And so, like, but the worst that I got was people would look and be like, I could see it in their eyes that they were like, spoiled kid. Like, motherfucker, I'm nearly 40 years old. Like, don't call me a kid.
But and let's see, I have the opposite problem. I wore one time just a black dress. Literally a fucking black dress. It was a little bit maybe like it was a nice material, whatever, just a black dress. Not even anything crazy. With like with a pair of like short heels. Okay? This is a very like casual work outfit because it's just a black dress. I didn't have tights on or anything. I didn't have makeup on, no jewelry because I don't dress up that much. And somebody asked me, they were like, "Oh, do you have a date later? Are you going somewhere later?" And I was like, "No, I'm just fucking working." I'm just wearing a dress. It's fine. But apparently it was like a little too dressy. It was a little too dress,
Well, that's not, like,
and I'm like,
there's so many like unwritten rules and expectations and like.
And the man who said this was wearing jeans.
I'm
like, stop. I'm like, I want anytime someone comments, I just want to be like, do you own a mirror? Like, look at yourself. And then come to me. And then say your comment once you've decided you're hot shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the dress code stuff just comes from like old school ways of thinking and like quite frankly like conservative thought processes, which is just
like nasty, gross old man
dude.
Well, and that's why
creeping on children.
Yeah. Oh, I had a conversation about that with my wife and one of our best friends the other day of like the whole schoolgirl thing. Like, I do not get why dudes find that attractive.
Nope.
Like, underage ladies, man. That's gross.
Yep. We could go on for this forever about the idea of who are dress codes for students for. Because let's get real, they're not for the boys.
Nope.
Okay? Because they don't care. They're not for the girls because they can wear whatever they want. Dress codes for students are so that the male teachers don't fucking look at them and get distracted by them. And it's fucking disgusting.
Well, don't say just male teachers.
No,
say
I
teachers.
shouldn't.
Because women can be predators too, Leah.
Absolutely. Actually, there's a few stories. So as a teacher, there, depending on what province you're in, some provinces have like magazines for their teachers association. And one of the ones I get has what's called the yellow pages in the back. And it is all of the teachers going to court for court cases for shit they've done.
Ooh.
And they outline the stories. It is literally like a gossip page. It is so fucking funny, some of them. And then some of them you're like, oh my God. And so the amount of teachers, I mean, again, comparatively to the amount of teachers in total, it's not actually that much. But like the amount of teachers in these pages who are like soliciting children, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with everyone?
That's so fucked,
What's
man.
wrong with everyone?
I feel like the
It's
teachers,
nasty.
I feel like the teachers that do that stuff are the same as like the cops that get into being a police officer because they want power over other people.
Power? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Absolutely.
like a power trip thing instead of like I actually want to serve and do a good thing,
Mm-hmm. No,
For real, killer. Ban them and send them straight to jail forever. Not horny jail, real
banned from
jail.
life.
Yeah.
So Mongo has a story.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Mongo. He said when he was a kid, he always wore jeans with glittery hearts on them. And his teachers told his parents to make him wear something else. He was like 4.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That's so
Mongo.
fucked up, man. Like this is I think this is actually like a great thing to talk about for this whole topic, just because like it's also the like teachers end up dictating a lot of things that happen in our early life, and that's a really great example. Like, apparently, my parents told me this when I was a teenager. When I was very young, I was ambidextrous until one of my teachers was like, "You really need him to just focus on one hand because he gets confused when he's writing."
Wow.
Yeah, so now I'm right-handed. You know, thanks, teachers. Not all teachers, clearly, but you know, like thanks that one teacher. Yeah.
I will say, like, I obviously I don't know the circumstances behind why they made you choose a hand, but I know for like my older brother, because he's autistic, he wouldn't pick a hand to write with, so he too was like ambidextrous in a sense, but it was actually affecting his development with his writing because he couldn't learn how to write because he couldn't pick a hand.
Oh.
So he wasn't becoming good with either of them.
Right.
So in that kind of a case, they did in fact make him pick and then like force him to use one because he was just not learning to write. But your situation definitely sounds like it was different.
For me, I think it was also partially because, you know, I have a learning disorder, so it was like I think they may have looked at it as partially like he's not going to pick one, like, you know, because they keep trying to tell him. I don't want to try to defend it. I have no fucking idea like what the full context of it is, because I'm sure that when they told my parents, they were like, because, you know, they figured out that both my sister and I have the same thing, and so they were probably exhausted and just like, sure, this is one fight we're just going to give up on. Which I get. Like, sometimes as a parent, you just got to be like, pick your battles. But, yeah.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, the whole left-handed thing is so weird. Like, I see a whole bunch of people commenting it on, like, both the chats.
Yeah.
Like, especially this was true in Catholic school, that they'd force you to be right-handed. And Evie's mentioning in, like, certain African cultures about left hands. Yeah, it's
Japan, too.
Weird thing. Yeah, that's right. Everyone in Japan is right-handed.
Yeah, they force you to be.
Right. Yeah, also, that is particularly because it's easier to write the characters right-handed. Because you
don't smudge.
I think, yeah, exactly, because of the smudging. And often, if you are at least traditionally using ink, you don't want it
be real
smudging.
smudgy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only reason I know that is because my brother actually knows how to write a lot of kanji and what's the other one? Hiragana, and he's left-handed, and he's like, it's so hard because he's like, I try to use my right hand because I just smudge it with my left.
Right.
Which is so weird. A weird topic to veer off into, but the whole handedness is very strange.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
Yeah.
Maybe this next, and then.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, and this is something I see a lot in even all the schools I've worked in. When we force kids to do things they don't want to do. Now, obviously, we're not referring to like safety things, right? Like, you know, there's a fire drill going on. It's kids like, I don't want to go outside. No, you're fucking going outside. Like, we're doing a fire drill. Like, get out. I more mean like forcing kids to like eat things. Like, my school provides the students with lunches. We have lunches that are provided to the students every single day. They don't have to bring a lunch from home, just because of the circumstances of the school. So they are provided lunch. And I tell my students every day, I'm like, if you don't like what's being served, just say no thank you. I don't want it. And you don't have to eat it. Like, I'm not going to force feed you lunch if you don't like it. We received an email the other day. I was fucking livid. We received an email from our principal that other teachers were withholding the yummy parts of the meal.
Wow!
To force their students to eat the other parts first before they could have the other parts of the meal. Yep. I'm like, I was livid. I was like, you cannot withhold food from your students.
That's so fucked
from
up.
a lunch program.
That's so
just
fucked.
let them eat the food. It's supposed to be like, you're just supposed to sit down and eat lunch. Like, not be like, you get your hot dog after you've eaten your vegetables. Like, are you kidding me?
That's
Just put sustenance in the child.
Literally.
What is the problem?
The fact that we got an email about this, I'm not even joking. Guys, this was last week for me.
Oh no.
Like, unbelievable. And that's why, like, I make it such a point every day with my students, whether it's because they get breakfast, snacks, and lunch. Every single one, I'm like, guys, remember, if you don't want the food, just say no thank you. Also, because we don't want to waste food, so I'm trying to get them to stop wasting food by just throwing it out. But side note, I'm like, if you want it, eat it. If you want seconds, you have to just go to the kitchen and ask them for seconds. They'll give you them.
I just want to tell you, Leah,
Like-
I don't know if you know what Des looks like, but you should see her in her streams one day because she may come to your school and commit some violence against these people.
Look at them. Don't worry, girl. I was there. I already have an idea of which teacher it was. So.
Okay. I was also going to say, like, Des, you may not have a problem here because it may be that, like, when you show up, that Leah just lets you in.
Yeah, I'll be like, have Adam.
Yeah,
I'll
do
be like,
the
don't
nerd
worry,
circle.
I know this girl.
Oh.
Trusted adult.
Oh, my God.
There's nothing wrong with kids being picky eaters.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and it's, again, this is something I probably watched on TikTok. Let's get real. I watch too much TikTok. But, like, when we as adults tell our kids, you have to eat everything on your plate, don't be picky. I'm the adult buying the food. I don't have to worry about being picky because I'm only buying what I like. But we're going to force our kids to eat whatever it is we like because that's what we like and then get mad at them for having opinions about what they like to eat? It's ridiculous. Like, as long as they're fed, who cares?
Yeah. And, like, I guess to a somewhat previous point that we were talking about, too, where, like, you know, yeah, very young kids can't be counted on to make good decisions for themselves because they're going to be like, yeah, I want to eat the candy and not the, you know, things that are actually going to provide real, like, caloric sustenance, etc. Like, but you're dealing with, I mean, how old are the kids that you work with, Leah, in general? Like, high school, middle school?
Yeah, junior and senior high, so it's grade 7 to grade 12. I have a wide range. So they're like 11 years old to like 18 years old.
Yes, we already know that the range of her class age is also fucked up, but that's another topic for another time. I actually have something to say the whole forcing kids to do something they don't want to do and telling them that speaking out against it is wrong. Very much leads into victim blaming culture. Mm-hmm. How many women don't defend themselves against a predator because they were told don't make a scene or you have to do things that you don't want to do, and then blame themselves for not doing anything.
For real, dude, I nearly got into a shouting match with my boss about this shit. And I was so pissed because, like, my boss is a lady. So, like, she was talking about how, quote-unquote, funny it was that these people were, like, you know, accusing James Franco of some stuff. And I was like, that's not fucking funny, man. Like, because she was talking about how, like, you know, it's ridiculous that women should be believed and all this stuff. And I was like, how the fuck like, you are an accountant. Your whole job revolves around math, statistics, and you're going to be like, well, my opinion is against the statistics. Like,
bro,
are you brain dead? What? Okay. Sorry, I have to...
Yeah, it boggles the mind. Boggles the mind.
Yeah.
But absolutely, like, doing something, like, the whole idea of forcing kids to do things, that is what leads to that eventually, right? Like... Yeah. Obviously, I'm no expert on this, right? Like, I can't say, like, there's a direct collection between this and this. No, but, like, you can see the correlation of how being forced to do things as a kid that you don't want to do and to accept it quietly, complacently.
That mindset into you for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that in the future, you can't stand up for yourself or you can't say no or you can't say, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because you've been told that's not okay. You have to like it and you have to try it.
I think there's actually a term for it. I want to say it's called societal conditioning. Something like that, where it's like just these things that are kind of ingrained in a group of people, a society, that they're kind of pervasive, that they just kind of, for lack of a better term, they infect, like, your thought process, you know?
Yeah, and then it just becomes it just becomes part of how you think.
Yeah, a great example is actually the United States, and I think possibly Canada as well. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. The whole drugs are bad, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like...
The DARE program?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, DARE, the Canadian DARE program. Oh, we all have T-shirts from that.
Oh, boy.
Jeez. Man.
Learned helplessness. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But, and like Desi said, being forced to eat everything on your plate. So what my mom would do, and this is absolutely child abuse. and I can laugh about it now, but it's still not funny. When we didn't eat what was on our plate, or we said we didn't like it, my mom would drag us to the bathroom and wash our mouths out with soap, a bar of soap. Rub it into our teeth, into our tongues. It was awful.
Jesus, dude, that's ugh.
No, we had to finish all the food on our plates. And now I'm super overweight and have like a terrible relationship with food. Yay!
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Vander
Well, it
just said, the
teaches
whole
you-
bless you thing.
teaches
Yeah.
not to be picky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ay, ay.
I think we should do this,
Okay.
and then I think that this is where we should leave off. I think this is this is good, and then
I like that.
like this, and that's it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you because I think we touched on some of this other stuff in other ways already.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, all these topics are so like interconnected anyway. They all lead into each other because they all
Yep.
stem for a lot of similar like issues in the first place.
Yay, built-in segues.
Yay!
Yay. But yeah, the idea of always giving 120% in everything that you do is it's really, really bad, and
It's so damaging in so many ways.
yeah, I am thankful that ever since I left the most abusive workplace I've ever worked at, I have not heard the phrase "give 110%."
I hate that phrase.
Yeah, because it is disgusting. It is literally like, and I feel, at least in the United States, it definitely stems from a capitalist environment of, you are the wage slave, and you must give everything to the all great and all seeing company.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about the roots of it, but at least in my mind, that is the root of the issue.
Well,
Yeah.
it's to make you feel like you need to be as productive as possible for as little pay as possible.
For
By
a company
instilling
that
this
doesn't give a
idea-
shit about you.
Yep.
Who could replace you like that?
Absolutely. And we push the same mentality onto kids, going back to education, of the idea like, you need to give 110% to get an A in my class, or even the idea of like, I don't give out A's, I only give out B's, and if you want an A, you're gonna have to try really, 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 really hard.
Yeah, like
It's just like, what?
Forcing people to go above and beyond. Like, it's so damaging, the whole concept of if you're going to do something, do it perfectly.
Yeah.
Nope, I hate it.
Nope, I'm like the absolute opposite. I'm like, and I can't remember where I saw it. But if something is worth doing, it's worth doing shittily, because at least it means that you're trying to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're too depressed to get up and brush your teeth and shower and whatever. If you manage to change your clothes and like brush like half of your teeth, that's better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, last
But-
year I had a situation like that with work, where they were asking me like, "Oh, well, why aren't these things done already?" And like, we had just experienced a humongous data breach, like literally the entire company shut down for months, and we had just barely gotten some functionality back, and I was incredibly sick. Like, basically, like you can't really leave your room because, like, so dizzy and just feeling awful. Thankfully, not COVID. So I still have taste and all that stuff. But anyway, and my boss was like, "Well, why aren't you like doing stuff?" And I was like, "Because I'm just gonna have to go back and redo it again. Like, I'm so sick and delirious with fever, I can't actually function." Like, and it was infuriating. 'Cause it's like, I'm having this shouting match with my boss while I'm incredibly sick and like, just it's.
Well, and the whole idea of like going to work when you're sick.
That is so
Absolutely.
bad.
Don't
This
do that.
starts in school. This starts in school
Yeah.
with the perfect attendance awards. That's where it starts, because they encourage you that if you come to school every single day of the year, regardless of what your absences were for, and we record whether you were absent for being sick or a death in the family or whatever, we write that down. Doesn't matter. If you weren't there, you do not get perfect attendance. You don't get
Yeah.
the award. It's drilled into your head from kindergarten.
Now, who came up with that?
Yeah,
Get that shit
Some
outta here.
some shitlord, man. I tell you.
for real. Like, I feel like all this stuff was. I actually talked about this with my wife the other day. Like, the idea of what is the actual goal of something? Because like I feel like all these things were done just thinking like, oh, then people will just come to school. It's like, okay, but you have to look at the repercussions of this and actually look at what your goal is. If your goal is to actually want kids to like coming to school, that ain't it, brother. Like, that's not the way to do it.
The goal is learning, right? Like that's the goal. But the whole reason that we encourage, education encourages perfect attendance is because education is based on industrialization. What are you trying to create? Factory workers. How do you increase productivity? Don't miss a day.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. It's fully based on industrialization and capitalism, because that's when schools started. They started during the Industrial Revolution to make factory workers. That's why schools have a bell system, because it's based on factories.
And that's why they don't teach you things like critical thinking and communication.
Wow. Incredible.
Man, who'd have thought all this shit actually makes sense is like interconnected and shit.
Yeah. And the more fun in the classroom, the more money.
Can't be.
So that's why it's such a dumb thing to be like, you can't take a sick day. Even if you're sick and you're not going to be productive and you're going to get other people sick, you still have to be there. Like, that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, and it damages everything in the company. Like, it's very much like short-term, quote-unquote, gains for a long-term loss or hindrance.
Because who knows how many people you've made sick and then they're not productive.
For real.
And then just that alone.
Yeah.
And for what purpose? To put more money into the pockets of someone else? That's if you're working for like a corporate entity.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you're just benefiting capitalism. It's not like you make more money. And most of us, like, we have sick days.
Yeah.
And people still don't take their sick days.
Well, yeah, I know in the U.S. you will get penalized for taking them sometimes because they're unpaid sick days most of the time. If you're not salaried.
Then, like, who fucking cares?
Huh? Well, that's the thing, is that in the USA, it's really hard to get, because a lot of people that have unpaid sick days are, they basically live paycheck to paycheck. And so they can't miss out on that money, or, like, they literally can't make rent or groceries or something along those lines. Not everybody, obviously, but this is some folks.
I love America.
Yeah, it's so fucking just, ooh.
Before I started streaming and doing art and stuff, I worked at a mental health hospital, right? And, it wasn't ever said outright, but basically it was like, if you called in to say that you needed a mental health day, you'd be laughed out of the room. At a mental health hospital.
It's unreal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, naffy. Oh, that's another good point, is in some jobs you'll be like, I have the flu, and then your boss will say, well, get a doctor's note. And it's like, you want me to go to an appointment with a doctor that I have to pay for to give you a note? You just want me to lose more money.
You're also then just like spreading it, having the chance to spread it to all the people in the doctor's office.
Yeah,
when the doctors don't want to see you, they're like, get out of here.
And especially when you're talking to an adult, it's especially insane, because it's like, you are working with an adult, a responsible person. Otherwise, why the fuck did you hire them? Like, they're not going to lie to you and be like, I'm sick. Like,
like, seriously, it's,
Yeah, exactly, Vandris. And, like,
or they make it so difficult that they encourage, like, it's also part of, I think, a little bit more of like a gaslighting technique, just to make you not take sick days, because they make it so difficult to take them.
100%.
And you're like, it's not worth the trouble of doing it. I might as well just go in.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
And like, that's awful.
Yeah,
like my technique now. Oh, go ahead.
Just beats you down. That's what our society is doing. It beats you into submission, into not complaining about anything, so that they can just suck the life out of us.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's a boring dystopia. Yes, Ghoulie. It is.
Yep. Yep.
No. My technique now is to say, I have personal matters I need to attend to. So I just fuck off. That's my mental health day. No, at least
it's not your goddamn business.
Yeah, and then if they ask, well, what matters? I can be like, personal matters. You're not allowed to ask. It's illegal.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah.
And so, like,
Okay.
it kind of, I guess, not that we were getting off topic at all, because I don't think we were, but just back to the idea of, like, the giving of yourself and the giving 110%. The one note that I put in here was, like, the giving tree and why I hate that story.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, because it's
a
like, oh,
bad-
yeah, it's so virtuous that this tree was like, yeah, keep taking and taking and taking until there's nothing left of me.
No, it's toxic and
Yeah,
terrible.
exactly. And,
Awful.
you know, there is goodness in, you know, like volunteering time and giving of yourself when you can and when you feel
When you
comfortable
have
in
the
doing so.
ability to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, but if somebody's like, God, when I was in college, this dude, this is one of the weirdest stories from when I was in college. I had parked on the street because I was going to community college, and this dude walks up to me with like this enormous Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and he's like, "Bro, can I borrow $20? Like, I need money to get my prescription." And I look down at the coffee, and I'm like, "Dude, like, you spent money on the coffee, but you don't have money for your medication, and you're coming to ask a college student? I have no money, dude. I'm the last person you should ask."
My lord.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot help you.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes you like this is a skill that it's very difficult to at least for me it was very difficult to start kind of getting into doing this, and that is the ability to just say no, I won't do that, or no, I can't, or just like, you know, thinking about like people
Well,
asking you to do
and-
something and you saying no, I don't have the
Just
time,
no.
I don't have the
Just no.
Yeah.
You don't have to justify
Yeah.
yourself. You don't have to explain yourself.
Just
No.
no.
Actually, yeah,
And walk away. Negative Nancy. Play Negative Nancy, chat.
Yep.
Yeah,
Negative
that
Nancy,
is
do
a
it.
far better way to look at. I know for me, for my own like brain comfort, because my brain is broken, is like I have to justify it to myself in the afterthoughts. But yeah, for real, like if you can't do something, just like Jesse and Leah said, just say no. And
Isn't
that's
that the
it.
game you played, Notor? Just say no.
There is a game called Just Say No, and I was just
No.
gonna say, play that fucking game.
There's two games. There's Negative Nancy.
Negative
and
Nancy is one too. Yeah, it just
okay.
came out recently.
Just Say No. It was a really. It's a really
It's
funny.
really
game. They're both
funny.
really funny. But yeah, like Jess said, you don't have to justify it. They can be just that you don't want to do it, and that's fine. It's okay. You can just say no. And if the other person says why, you say, "I don't owe you an explanation."
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Steve. Oh.
Oh man.
I think the final thing that we wanted to touch on was just that the idea of like how damaging some of the like stories we tell kids are, and like the morals of them. And this is actually the whole reason I wanted to talk about this topic in the first place. Was I don't remember why I was thinking about it, but I was thinking about the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, and if you think about it and follow through with the lyrics, so he's picked on because he's different, right? And only after someone else recognizes that he has something that he can contribute to other people, that he's worth anything, and then all the other reindeer suddenly like him because because he's helpful to other people. You have inherent self-worth. You,
Preach,
as you
preach.
are right now, you have worth.
Yeah, and your worth is not defined by your actions, or what you do, or how much you do, or how much you give of yourself to others.
Or how much you do for other people.
You are, all your worth is just there. It's yours.
Yeah.
And
Even
you
though
don't have to,
Probably don't believe it because we've been conditioned not to.
but you don't have to earn it. You don't have to eat all the food on your plate. You don't have to wear the clothes that other people want you to wear. You don't have to try everything and like everything and be super positive all the time. You can just be you. Not the poor self-esteem.
Oh no.
I believe in all of you. Raise your self-esteem. It took me a long
It's
time
not
to
an
have
easy
good
thing.
self-esteem.
Yeah.
I
Same.
for sure I get that, but it took me a really long time to have better self-esteem, and it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it takes work and effort.
It does.
But you're still worthwhile, even if you have poor self-esteem.
and that's what I tell people when I suggest things. Like, I think almost everybody could go to therapy at least once and like learn like what some of their like negative thought patterns are, or whatever. Because people are trained to detect those things, and they're like, oh, but it's so expensive. It's like, it's your health. Would you walk around with a broken foot for years? No, you'd go and get it fixed. Your brain is just as important.
Yep.
Absolutely. But it's crazy to me how hard it still is. Like in Canada, we have free healthcare, right? And if you get referred to a therapist, if you get referred, you can. But if you seek it out yourself, yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It should be part of your health.
Yeah.
It is part of your health. And it's so hard to be referred. Like, I have a friend who he would like to see a psychologist. And so he went to the doctors. He wants a referral. And he was like, well, actually, I have to refer you to a therapist first who will assess you first. And then they decide if you need to see a psychologist.
Jesus Christ, man.
And I'm like, like, I'm sure, like, people are aware enough of their own mental well-being to know if they need help, additional help.
Yeah.
Right? And it should be something that we have access to. But this might be another topic.
Oh, for sure.
But to kind of cover it up on a positive, you're all worthy and lovely, and we love you.
But that doesn't
You're
mean you shouldn't always try for yourself and to get better.
Yeah. But if you need a reason to try,
you are your own reason to try.
Yeah. I am living proof that if you feel like maybe you might be trending towards being a garbage person, that you can in fact get better, and it's a constant process. It is never something that you're finished with, because you will always find something. Like, if you're actually looking to improve, there's always stuff that you're going to find. They're like, holy shit, I can totally do that better. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really important to not be like, fuck, I screwed this up, but be more like, okay, I did this not so great.
A mistake.
Yeah, and now I'm going to do it better in the future. Forever.
It's okay to make mistakes, chat.
Yeah, because mistakes are how you learn, man.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I didn't really realize growing up, and dealing with it as an adult was that much more difficult because I had never experienced it as a child.
Yeah. It's interesting. You can really, just a quick aside with this. It is such an old way of thinking that making a mistake is like this horrible thing. Like, at
it's
work,
life-changing, or like,
they'll
have some serious consequences, or
at work, I think people are so used to like people trying to cover up or like blame somebody else for their mistakes. But like, whenever people ask me like, oh, well, how did this thing happen? I'm like, oh, I fucked up. And they're usually like, you what? And it's like, I fucked up. That is my mistake. And like, just owning a mistake, it's, you just shut down all ability for people to be mad, because like, it's like, yeah, I understand that I fucked up, and I'm giving you that like for free right now. Like, I don't know, man. Yep. It's also pretty freeing to just be able to say, that is my bad, and not try to hide it.
I made a mistake. It happens.
Yeah.
Like, let's fix it and deal with it.
Exactly.
And move forward.
Just look for a way to fix it. Exactly.
Also, chat is just like ranting about the healthcare system in the U.S. now.
Oh yes.
Oh God. Listen, that is like 40 podcasts all in itself.
Oh my gosh, that's a series.
Yeah.
Like admitting their fault mainly because people tend to rub it in their face. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But if we all like, agree to stop doing that so that people can admit that they made a mistake and grow from it, like, it's got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
That's also why, like, I try to foster an environment where people can just ask any questions of me that they really want in chat, as long as they're not like doing it in a bad faith way. One of our community members.
What's your social security number?
Yeah, there you go. But like, somebody asked me, It was one of the first times that somebody really asked me something very serious. They were like, how do you get your news, and like, how do you verify that it actually makes sense, and like that it's not full of shit? And I was like, I stopped what I was doing. I was like, I'm just going to explain to you exactly how it is that I look at the world and how I, view these things. Or like, somebody also asked me about like the COVID vaccines and like, something I forget exactly what the full context was, but it's like, if you're asking in like a good faith way, I'm not going to just like send you away. Like, there's no shame in not knowing something. Everybody doesn't know something. I mean, like, yeah, I get really frustrated because I love wildlife and like nature and stuff, and so I get really frustrated when people do really dumb shit around animals, like they smile at a monkey or something, and I'm like, ooh, bad, don't do that, But I'm not going to be like, yeah, everybody should know this. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, everybody should know this, but if you're going to a place with monkeys, you should probably look it up and be like, what not to do around primates. But
Yeah.
There's no shame in not knowing.
Yeah, and to give people the benefit of the doubt that like it's okay that you don't have to be perfect, and you can't know everything. Even with Google at your fingertips, you can't possibly know everything. And just threaten them with a smile.
I mean, you joke, but that is exactly how it goes, man. Their threatening behavior is to show their teeth.
Yep.
My cousin's stupid boyfriend did that, and I was just like, dude.
And Spang made a point about like part of the reason why people feel like they can make fun of other people is because it starts when they're kids, like laughing at other people who are wrong.
Yep.
And that again goes back to like, how do your teachers and your parents deal with that? Like, I don't let my students laugh at each other. I'm like, if the other person's not laughing, and
it's not funny.
it's not funny. And they say it a lot. They're like, "Oh, I was just joking." I'm like, it's not a funny joke.
And
I call it out hardcore.
And it's not a joke to the person
that you're bullying.
Directing it at.
Yeah.
You're bullying them, right? It's not funny. You're not being funny. And I tell them all the time, like, no, there's no laughing here when you're making fun of somebody else.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
It's just like with the bro, it's just a joke defense. It's like, yeah, well, but like nobody else is laughing, man. Like, I don't know. It's
like,
not funny,
it's
though.
Just a prank.
It's just a prank.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Your phone.
Oh. Ooh. No, I hate that. It's so toxic.
Oh, yeah.
It's...
Well, because people use it as a catch-all to just be a piece of shit.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
dude,
exactly.
seriously.
It's just an excuse. It's an excuse to be a bad person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're still just a shitbag.
Yeah. And, like, that's one of the things I think I want to say is, like, everybody makes mistakes, and I certainly had my very large fair share of making shitty mistakes and doing shit like that. And it is thanks to folks who were patient enough to, and not always patient enough, like people that were I don't want to say brave enough, because I'm not an intimidating person, but like, that had the something to say something, they had like the gumption. I don't know if that's the right word, but they had something in them to be like, I'm going to talk to this guy and say something. Because like one of the first times that somebody confronted me about something was when I actually used the word gay as a pejorative. And this gay person who was a patron of the shop that I was working at when I said it, because like, it was just acceptable to do that at the time, which is so stupid, was like, yo, that fucking hurts. But and the only reason I want to say is like, people fuck up, and when they can for real like apologize and realize what they've done is hurt someone, that's when the healing process can kind of start, and like you can really kind of start not fixing someone's brain, but like, fixing that their perspective on the world is like when you can really start talking to someone for real. At least that's the way it was for me anyway.
But also as somebody who is like a part of a lot of those marginalized groups, it's also not your responsibility if you don't want to take that on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, it's not your fucking job.
Yeah,
you don't
no.
The onus is not on you to educate.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and for real, I was totally one of those assholes that was like, well, why don't you just talk to the person? Like, no, it is, like you just said, not their job. It is no one's job to do it. It is on you to learn why you are being shitty, and to sit and listen to people when they talk. Do not talk over them. Do not make suggestions. Just listen when they talk, and try to really absorb what they're saying.
Absolutely.
Listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Schrodinger's douchebag to base the truth on the comments of other people's reactions.
Well, yeah, because Splat had mentioned that like people say like sexist and racist shit, and then be like, it's just a joke. You're such a sensitive little snowflake. You don't. Comedy's dead, and
Oh, and
It's not funny.
So I'm like, okay, can you explain it to me in great detail why it's funny?
Yeah, like explain to me. I don't get it. Why is it funny?
Yeah, why is it funny? I don't get it.
Or I've seen stuff of like people like flipping it and like saying it back to them, but switching either like the gender that's
or
being
the
said
whatever.
stuff,
Yep.
and being like, wow, guess it's not actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think this was a good first go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, chat. What'd you think? Should we do this again?
Yeah. Tell us.
We'd love a little feedback.
You like this? Yes.
No, they're counting by grumbles. God damn it.
Yeah.
I did see that too.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Mick Bro Guy, it's 2.5 Canadians because these two wonderful ladies are both actual Canadians, and I am just, my mom is Canadian, so I'm like half Canadian, which is why I'm also very wee, so I'll show you, look. See, I'm very wee in the picture. Yeah.
Hi, backers. You hate
Yeah, was good?
podcasts?
Okay.
This is great. That's because this is like an interactive podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, podcasts, you just have to listen to them. You can't actually talk to the
Yeah.
people.
You know, truth be told, when you first mentioned like how you kind of wanted chat to be involved, I was like, at first I was reticent because I was like, I don't know, man. But I think it's because I've seen other chats that were very like people that don't really cultivate a community of nice people. They're just like, I'll take anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no. I
yeah,
get what you mean.
I think that it works because we have people that are open and understanding and wonderful in our communities.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blue Crayon. So this was kind of like the gentle lead-in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, we're getting into some pretty heavy shit. Don't you worry.
Yeah. We definitely wanted to lead in with a little bit of a softer lead in before we kind of like bash your guys' brains in.
Here are some of the topics that I have. Okay, so I've got sexuality, death, mental health and disability, toxic familiar relationships, why your words matter, and
parasocial, right?
Sexism, and parasocial relationships. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay, I don't know all the words, so can you describe what just like a quick, what is a parasocial relationship? I'm curious.
Like the relationship between like a streamer and their chat.
Oh,
and
okay,
the idea
cool.
of like someone who is like a YouTuber and the people who watch them feel like, oh, I know this guy and he knows me. We're friends.
Oh.
Or even parasocial, even going to like people and like celebrities.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Actors and stuff. It's parasocial.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really just fans and whoever they're fanning over.
Okay, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't always know like the real terminology for stuff.
Yeah.
Blue, I would
of
definitely say we're friends, man. 100%.
Normally parasocial is where you can't be fully interactive with the person.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This Jim's
You're a fan.
Yeah. What's up, Weaver?
Yeah. That's how we tell who's a real fan.
Yeah. Oh my
like,
god.
People got really invested in Keanu Reeves' life. Yeah, pretty much.
I almost feel like because we said that's how you tell who a real fan is, I almost feel like we should get into fallacies at some point just for like, they're no true Scotsman and all that stuff. But I feel like people can look that shit up on their own.
Yeah.
That just like touching on it once or twice might be okay. But that's also something we need to discuss later, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, we got some spicier stuff coming down the road. That was the whole point of this, that we wanted to.
This is the pilot, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the test
pilot.
case. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have more stuff that we'll get into that's deeper and harder to talk about. But because the whole reason I wanted to do this in the first place was because I had a little talk on my stream by accident about like sexual health and stuff like that, and people were like, I wish people talked more about this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, because people are right. Like normally, like you'd said, Notor, a Twitch chat is not normally the forum to have conversations like these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to make it so that we could because I know at least like my chat and my mods would be able to, you know, moderate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Going forward, just in terms of like how often we're going to do this, do we want to try to do this like once a month? Or do you want to discuss that off camera?
I mean, just depending on availability, I think.
Okay.
I am always available.
Yeah, like I can always be available I would do this every week.
All right, so I'm just going to put this out there. Chat, you can blame me for how infrequently this is going to happen because I am the least available person in this group.
I already knew that.
Yeah. It's like when you guys were like, oh, yeah, I'm available all the time. I'm like, oh, Mondays, I have a charity thing every other Monday. Then I've got Tuesdays. Those are free. And then Wednesdays is with Vandrus. And then, like, you know, Thursday I spend time with my wife. Friday I'm running D&D or I'm, like, preparing for it. Just
Sunday is Dark Souls. I know.
Yeah. Oh, that pod ended though. We're not doing Dark Souls during the day on Monday or on Sundays anymore.
Oh no.
It's okay though. Like it was great because now they're both like super huge Dark Souls fans, and they both have been in a private chat with me where they're just like, "Oh my god, this thing and this thing and this thing." Oh, dude, it just it melts me, man. I'm so happy. It's the Wee Vandy Wednesday. Yes.
The Wee Vandy Wednesday.
That's the name of it now. The Wee Vandy Wednesday.
I love that.
Oh.
Yeah, once a week maybe is asking for burnout. I'd be good with like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd be down for every 2 weeks for like a month or something like that.
Yeah, we can try it out.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Notor.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
This was a lot of fun.
That's great.
I also
Yeah, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Notor.
I just wanted to give a special shout to Killer's Assist, who was actually the person who I mean, like, I don't think he put this notion in your head, Jesse, but he certainly was the one that put it in mine. When one night, I think we were all three in Leah's chat, and he was like, "So, podcast with you three when?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was that the rant day? Was that
Yes.
when I was
Yeah,
ranting?
that was the
Yes.
rant day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were like, "We'll do it.
Well,
Don't test us."
it was like a cosmic confluence of events because like then I remember Jesse was like, "Well, I have been thinking about doing a podcast," and
Yeah.
so it's just like, "You don't say." All right.
Yeah, it was weird how the universe came together for that one.
Yeah, I'm glad it did.
So, oh shit, we totally missed out on another name we could have had for this. The cosmic
What?
confluence of Canadians. The
It's way too
alliteration.
It's way too long.
Okay, it is too long, but I love alliteration. So.
No, I do
That's
too,
good.
but that's way too long.
Oh yeah. The triple C, yes.
I'm really glad that I didn't have to like write that out.
Yeah, after like the art for it, just is like, "Damn you!"
Yeah. Like, oh dude, I can't even imagine how many like messages we would have gotten in the chat. Just like, I hate that you decided on this of all names.
Yep. Yep. The CCC, really?
Yeah. Oh man.
You know what? It's a little too close to another triple letters.
yeah,
you know?
that's-
Oh
Just-
no!
just-
why I-
Oh no!
That's why I
It
was
just clicked. Yup.
oh, that the whole time I was like,
Oh no!
I just noticed because I just looked back at it. I was like, "Huh,
Oh.
huh."
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Good. You know, it was a close call.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, we dodged a bullet there. Thank God.
for sure. Notor,
Man.
you're streaming more Darkest Dungeon 2, right?
I am.
Okay, I'm gonna send my guys your way then.
Ooh. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
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 And
Guys,
special
we'll watch-
thanks to Jesse for putting this together, for doing the art.
Oh my God. Yeah. Huge thanks. If we can get like big praises for Jesse, please.
Yes,
for
big
real.
praises.
Oh,
So
right,
lovely.
Dungeon 2 is out. Yeah, on Epic Game.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
you, everybody,
chat.
for coming.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
I'll put this up on my YouTube channel. I don't know about
Oh yeah.
your do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I actually started with YouTube in like
Oh.
2013.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. It's been a while. Yeah.
All right. Good night, chat.
Bye, Jesse chat, and also welcome, I guess, at some point. There it goes. I see it. Ah! I knew it was coming, and it still surprised me every fucking time.
You scream every time you're raided.
That's because it
Every
always
time.
surprises me somehow.
Is your raid notification just like real loud?
No,
it's
I
aggressive.
just have like no sense of awareness at all.
It's so funny.
Oh my god! Thank you guys for the Prison Stones of Friendship, Soul Fury, Amazing Libby. You're
Everyone follow Notor. Follow the Notor.
Don't do it.
He's good.
Don't do
Do it. Follow him.
Fuck.
Accept his prism of friendship.
They're doing it. Oh god.
Okay, I'll let you get to your darkest dungeoning. Good luck.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.